Hello everybody, here we are, and I am about to introduce to you the assignment module in Moodle. The assignment module in Moodle is to outline for students digital assignments or assignments that are heavily computer-based, and also to provide an area where students could submit those assignments digitally. As I mentioned in the introduction to this unit, which is right here, we are going to see more and more of the production of students and the learning being based from a digital device like a laptop computer, a desktop computer, an Android device, or an iPad or something like that, or their own device. So let me show you how this works. Sorry about my cold. First step is to turn editing on, and then when you turn editing on, we know we get all our tools for editing. But in addition to our tools, in each block, in the center section, you get an option to add an activity or a resource to the center section of your page. So I'm going to click on Add an Activity or a Research. This has changed dramatically in the last 12 months, so this may look new to you. But today we are going to look at the assignment module. When I click on that, you get an overview of what that is intended for, and you can read that if you'd like. I'm just going to click on the Add button. And what you see is a lot of different fields. And the fields with the stars that are red are required fields. And so this assignment's going to have a name, and then you're going to outline the description of the assignment. Keep in mind that you could embed video, you could embed a YouTube video, you could make a hot link to external web pages, you could link to a PDF, all sorts of things. I'm going to continue to scroll down. Some of the things I'm not going to go over, but I did want to let you know that there is this blue help button if you need any details about any of these fields that you may or may not have to fill out. Again, the red ones with stars are required. That means you have to fill that out. In general, what I do not necessarily have any dates enabled. You could, especially if you use the Moodle calendar, you could enable a due date, and then that would actually end up on the Moodle calendar by default. Many people use the Google Apps calendar. Showing the description, that's probably always going to be a yes. That's your description of the assignment. I'm going to show you an example of these a little bit later as well. Require students to click a submit button. Almost always leave that no, unless this is a long-term project. If it's a long-term project, then the work that the students do is a draft until they click the submit button. So you should know about that. You can have a little statement having to do with plagiarism, that the students have to click on a button that says this is my independent creative work, and so by default that's usually a no, but that's an option. If you want the students to get an email that you have graded or commented on their assignment, you can change this to yes. Of course, that's going to be dependent on the student having an accurate email address that they check in their personal profile. So that is an option as well. You can do group assignments. We're not going to talk about that. That'll be a later tutorial. And I'm going to skip a bunch of these things. And this is probably the most important part here, because if you are going to post a digital assignment and what they have to do is write something, so meaning answer questions or write a paragraph or several paragraphs, you're going to want to change this to yes, because what that will give the student is that will give them an opportunity to click on a button, and then they'll get a field with an editing toolbar where they could link to files, or they could link to external web pages, or they could write down text, whatever you want them to do. So that's going to be very common. The other thing is maybe you're asking them to produce something. Let's say you're asking them to produce a 1-minute audio clip. Then you would want them attach that audio clip as an assignment. Then they would be uploading a file for you. So you would change this to yes. But if you're just having them post text, this would be a no. If you do change this to yes, you have a choice as to how many files you are going to let them upload and the file size. The bigger the better. If you ever feel like this is too small, email Terry Oslin. We can make that bigger for you. And finally, if you want to be able to grade it in any way, you can use some scales. And by the way, you can customize your own scale, but that's not in this video. Or you can assign a number of points if you want to be able to let students see in Moodle what they are getting in terms of points. Now everything down here is if you want to restrict access to this assignment, like let's say a student has to take a short quiz, and if they perform at a certain level, they can get access to this assignment. That's all advanced stuff, but that's kind of a cool thing. So I'm going to very quickly show you a finished example. I'm going to go to Jane Kleiman's Health Science course. We're going to go down to her Disease and Disorders unit, and I'm going to click on the Healthcare Commentary. This is a super basic example. This is her title right here, Healthcare Commentary, and this is the description of the assignment. She's asking the students to read this article, and if I click on this article, it's going to download a PDF that I, as the student, could open and I could read. And then she wants them to answer the question that she has at the bottom of the article. We can't see the question in here. And so this is what a teacher sees, but a student would have a button that would say something like edit this submission, or I can't really remember right now what it says. I'll try to tell you that later, I guess. But boy, look at, there's a long due date from Jane. Maybe that's why she doesn't want to have a due date. So that's what the student sees. Let's see if I could go down to switch my role to a student and see if I actually see what a student will see. You know, you don't see it as a teacher, but there is a button to submit your assignment. So I'm going to go back to that. So if I click on Edit Settings while I'm on my assignment page, I'm just going to go down so you can see where these different things are here. There's an assignment name. Oh, this is silly. You don't see your editing toolbar here, but if I went to HTML format and save this page, you'll have all those editing tools. You can see that she had a due date, and for her, she is this is interesting because she should have said yes to this, and maybe that's the reason why when I went there I didn't see the option to put in the actual answer to the question. So let's try this again. Now, if I go to switch role to, and I go to student, no, I still don't see it, but I promise you if I was logged into as a student, I would be able to post the answer to the question at the bottom of the PDF. So that is a basic assignment, digital assignment for you if you are working with students and you have a laptop cart, you have access to an iPad cart, or a set of iPads, or you're in the computer lab. Think about opportunities to do a digital assignment. And in your assignment submission description, you can reference or link to any videos or supplementary websites that they would use in the process of doing that assignment. So bring in the web and think about how can I create digital assignments that are engaging for students. Good luck.